Welcome to MSUA's Game Changers Live, where we speak with satellite and mobile connectivity thought leaders about where things are headed in the future and the latest technologies and programs headed your way. I am your host, Lisa Dreyer, and I am really excited to introduce our guest for today, John Peterson. He is the Executive Director of Aviation at Iridium. Welcome to the show, John.
Hey, Lisa, it's great to be here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for making time to be here. Maybe we can start by having you give a little bit of background on yourself and Iridium's aviation business.
Absolutely. I personally have been in aviation for 30 years. I'm a private pilot. I've been around since GPS came into aviation, WAS GPS came into aviation, LPV came into aviation. All these were satellite-driven type technologies that took aviation to a place where smaller runways, smaller airports could be used in business aviation. Airliners could get to lower minimums. Places in the world that couldn't take in airliners could now take them in. Like all of these amazing innovations, I've been there through all of it. I've also been there for the launch of KU, the launch of KA, bringing high-speed data to the cabin of aircraft and all of those exciting things that happened. And that was an amazing evolution. And now I'm most excited about being with Iridium and bringing the next level of safety to aviation, something that is going to change aviation for the next 20 years. And we are just sort of like the first drop into the ocean of where we're going with Iridium Certus in aviation. And thank you for the award. This award is really the wonderful kickoff to give everybody on my team the confidence that we're heading in the right direction. What we're doing is being recognized, and we're really excited about the next steps.
Yeah, great. And actually, that's a good point. This year at the Satellite Mobile Innovation Awards in DC, Iridium was recognized with the Aerospace Mobile Innovation Award. So congratulations on that. And
Thanks.
Why don't we start by having you talk a little bit about Certus and what Iridium earned that award for?
So it's a really interesting and fascinating physics problem to be able to take a satellite that's 600 miles above the Earth, going 60,000 miles an hour, and connecting it to an aircraft that's going 600 miles an hour, and being able to hold that connection and make seamless voice calls and getting data rates up to 700 kilobits per second. And the antennas, the link budgets, the modems, and all of the technology that it takes to do it. And then the most important part is all of that technology has to comply with FAA, EASA, CAAC, all of these aviation standards for presenting a service and having a product that can exist in an environment that's 40, 50,000 feet off the ground, negative 40 degrees Celsius, and all of these complex sort of problems that are unique to aviation. Because an aircraft in Arizona on the ground, your antenna is about 140 degrees, and within 6 minutes, your antenna is negative 40 degrees. So you have 180 degrees of temperature swing in less than 6 minutes. And if you think about taking your iPhone and dropping it in a pot of boiling water, it's not going to be a very good outcome for it. But that's what we do in aviation every single day. And the complex electronics you have in these types of antennas, and all of our value-added manufacturers, all of our engineering teams, all of our satellite network teams, they broke through all these complexities and problems. And we are the only low Earth orbit constellation that actually can bounce your voice call or can bounce your data packets across the satellite network to get it to the ground. We're the only people who figured out how to do it. When you look at other advances in KU and certain satellite companies that are LEO that are only just now beginning to crack that technology. Iridium's been doing it for 30 years. So what we do is very difficult and complex. And what we provide to aviation is really unique in terms of it's available everywhere. So we kind of think available everywhere means when I drive from work home, or available everywhere is when I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and if I want to go to LA, do I have voice signal all the way through? And that's what we think of available everywhere is. But what is available everywhere when you're in a remote part of Alaska? What is available everywhere when you're out in the ocean? Where is available everywhere when you're in the Arctic? What is available everywhere as you're going across the Amazon? We're the only ones that are available in every single one of those places. And in the aviation world, you can't say, well, it doesn't really work when you're out there so well. It works much better when you're over here. We don't get that. Ours works exactly the same no matter where you are. And so that is a really complex physics problem to solve. I'm really proud of folks like Honeywell and Collins and Guardian Mobility and Skytrack and all of these value-added manufacturers who've come in and taken on that problem and solved it and is now providing the products to the market.
Yeah. Just amazing, right? And I think that as a user or a person that is flying on these commercial aircraft, you just completely take that connectivity for granted, and you don't think about all of the challenges that had to be overcome to make that possible. And then when it's not available, you get really annoyed, right? So it's like, hey, this is hard, right? So that is amazing. When you think about this Certus service, I understand that it's available to many, many different types of aircraft. Can you talk a little bit about that, and then also about some of the benefits and features that Certus can provide?
Absolutely. When anyone in aviation thinks of Iridium, what's most important to us is the first thing they should think of is safety. This is, no matter what happens, no matter where I am, no matter what, I know this is going to work. I am positive of it. I can bring 10 different devices with me, but I know this is the one that will absolutely work. And in aviation, we can't take that for granted, because the wonderful thing about aviation is to go from point A to point B, aviation allows you to go in a straight line. Communication is usually around population centers. And so you have to be able to provide that service between those 2 points. And so when we go into something like business aviation, what business aviation is looking for is they're looking for productivity. They use us for productivity. They don't use us for streaming. They don't use us for videos. They don't use us for anything other than text, voice, email, cockpit safety, sending messages to the FAA and getting messages back from an air navigation service provider. And we are the absolute service that absolutely works when any other service isn't available. When you look at something like the drones that are out there, the large drones that are out there, they are functioning in an environment where there's no pilot. They're autonomous. So what happens? So you have to have constant communication with those. You have to be able to track them. You have to be able to know where they are. You have to be able to maintain separation with them. You have to know where the rest of the traffic is that's around them, because they won't be able to see you. And so you need to be able to see them, but you're not on the aircraft looking for them. You have to use satellite technologies, because you can't trust. You're not high enough in the air that the ground infrastructure can necessarily see you, but you're too high for the cellular infrastructure to communicate with you. So you're in this sort of dead zone for traditional communication tools. And so we're a tool they can use. And the great part about us is we're like a half a pound, and we're this tiny little antenna. So these drones can use our technology because we're the size, weight, power. We can do everything they want to do in order to maintain that link and know with absolute assurity that no matter what mission I'm running, the fact that I'm not on the aircraft is okay, because I have communication with my aircraft. I can see where my aircraft is and whether or not it's performing the mission as planned. And then when you move over into things like helicopters, the areas where the helicopter industry is most interested is life-saving. So you look at the helicopters that fly for hospitals, the helicopters that are supporting remote missions on oil rigs and things like that, where safety is incredibly important. The rotor blades make it very difficult for any communication tools to work. All these helicopters, they don't put oil rigs in your backyard, and they typically don't put oil rigs in high population areas. And many of the oil rigs are out in the water. So how do you maintain that safety? How do you get that done? And then also the life-saving air ambulance helicopters. So they're going out to where there's a car accident. They're going out to where there's a problem. And so there isn't any communication tools out where they are typically either. So how do you communicate back with the hospital? What's the status of the patient? Are they stable? What life-giving tools should we be given? How do the doctors see what's going on? You need communication links to do that. These are the areas where they absolutely come. The first thing they want to do is they want to get Iridium on those aircraft, because they absolutely know, no matter what, I know that is what will communicate back. Mm-hmm. So knowing that's true, Certus allows them to do it with more throughput. So now all of a sudden, rather than just a voice communication or just a text message, now they can say, well, send me a picture of what's going on. Give me a data feed from your avionics. Let me get all the parameters from the drone so I can see the fuel, the temperature, the rotation, the position of the ailerons, all of these things that are what's called a scan for a pilot. When I fly, I scan. I know where everything is. I know everything is safe. Now Iridium is sending that scan back to a remote pilot, and the data rates of service make all of that available. And then the best part about it, and the reason why we're growing so fast this year in all these verticals, is the cost. This new technology comes at a much lower cost. And if you think about, well, I'll say it for myself, Lisa, but way back in the day, long distance phone call might have been 2 cities away, and it cost dollars per minute and dollars back in that day. Now with my mobile, with my iPhone, I can call India and not pay anything for the call. It's free. It's included in my data service with voice over IP, right? So we've seen these miraculous changes in terms of how we communicate, how much it costs, and all these things. We move a little slower in aviation, but now with Certus, all of these things I told you are 1/100th of what they used to cost in terms of providing that service, because the technology is so much better. The ability to get on and off the satellite is so much better. There's so much more capacity. All of these efficiencies that we're driving are making what we used to do 1/100th, more than 1/100th of what it used to cost. And so folks are clamoring to get this incorporated into their overall solution, because number one, it's much more affordable than it's ever been. And number two, they absolutely, positively know it's absolutely going to work. I've got to have it on my aircraft, because if anything else fails, I know this will work.
Yes. Okay. Well, we can absolutely see why this solution earned the Aerospace Mobile Innovation Award this year. Can you tell me a little bit about what advancements you are expecting or working on for the future?
I will give you just a little peek into what we're doing. But we are going to innovate, disrupt safety in aviation over the next decade. We are going to bring value to airlines and business jet operators, and we're going to bring value to large autonomous vehicles in aviation. These are things that are over 200 pounds, doing longer missions. And we are going to work very closely with our technology partners in order to deliver a next level of safety into aviation. So, and we'll make sure that you get glimpses of this as we roll this stuff out over the next 12 months. But I am very excited now that we've got the physics problem solved and behind us, and people are incorporating the solution. Now we can do all the real innovation that's coming in, the applications and the network solutions that we apply to those solutions, which is beyond exciting.
Wow, amazing. Well, John, I want to thank you so much for taking time to be here today. Can you tell us, if somebody wanted to learn more about Iridium's aviation solutions, what should they do?
It's really easy. Go to iridium.com, click on aviation, and it's all laid out for you right there, including all of our amazing value-added manufacturers, value-added resellers, where you can purchase and learn more about the product.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again for being here today. We really appreciate it. And congratulations again to the entire team at Iridium for earning the Aerospace Mobile Innovation Awards at this year's Satellite Mobile Innovation Awards program.
Thanks, Lisa. Thank you very much. Super proud of everyone.
Absolutely. And I also want to take a moment to thank the Mobile Satellite Users Association for hosting these sessions. To learn more about the MSUA, visit msua.org, where you can sign up for our weekly newsletter that keeps you updated on all of the latest in satellite mobile solutions and technologies. And also you can learn how to become a member of the MSUA. And we really look forward to seeing you next time on MSUA's Game Changers Live.